Hello my loves, Carly here, the author of the Soul Modes book, which currently is at number 3 in the US. I've got a unicorn band-aid, how cute is that? Currently at number 3 in the US on Amazon, and to think that means there's a whole lot of people out there reading this book right now, or at least downloaded it. Hopefully a lot of them are also reading it. And I'm sitting here in this moment of peaceful presence and gratitude, knowing that just now while I was out patting baby lambs with my family at a farm, that's how we chose to spend today. We're in Melbourne, it's Melbourne Cup Day, which means it's a public holiday. And that's what we've done today. And to get back and see, this morning when I left, it was at number 10, I think 10 or 9, in that category, which is a category which feels really important to me to kind of reach people in. It's also in the women in business category. And it was at 10, and I get home and it's at 3, and it's on that top row alongside authors that I admire, deeply admire and love, and have loved reading from. So it's a pretty surreal moment. And so to celebrate that, I wanted to come, in case you can't tell by the cardigan that I'm in bear mode right now. So it's a really... Okay, good job, Barb. Hey, I've got the tripod here, so can you just make sure you don't knock over, please, darling? Okay, so I wanted to read a little bit for you. Just leave it, please, darling, it's fine. A little bit for you from the Bear Mode chapter. Aria, could you leave that alone, please? I've got it in just the right spot, so I'd rather you not pull it back, because you can't see me when you do that. I want you to stop doing that, please. Okay, so I want to read a little piece of... Children are so much fun sometimes. I'm in bear mode, and so I thought a nice thing to do might be to read a little bit from the bear mode chapter. So there, because I'm reading the book from it, darling. Bear mode is very much when you want to be in a bubble, where you don't want to have lots of people asking you questions, where you don't want to have anybody jumping on you, you don't want to have anyone bouncing around on the bed that you're on trying to read. It's an interesting time. And so I know that there are a lot of mothers out there, or people who live with lots of people in their house, maybe some particularly small people who don't quite understand the concept of a personal bubble. And I hope that this work that I'm doing is helpful to those people. I hope that this work helps those people to know that you're not an awful person to want to have time alone. There's nothing wrong with you, and if that need for time alone, or at least a personal bubble, cranks up at times, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. You might just find you're in bear mode. So bear mode is one of the 4 modes that I talk about in the book. There is a chapter on each mode. Then there's a chapter on tracking your modes, on surrendering to them, on balancing yourself out, being kind to yourself. There's sort of a part 1 and a part 2 of the book. Part 1 is really getting to know this concept, and part 2 is applying it in different areas of your life, in your parenting and your relationships, even with money. It's quite amazing and quite profound how this plays out, because it's your soul, it's what's driving you deep inside of you. So it plays out in every area of your life. And bear mode, I think, for a lot of people has been where out of the 4, there's wild mode, bear mode, super mode, and sparkle mode. And I know that bear mode for many has been where they have, I guess, realized or had the most benefits at this beginning, like most quickly, and realizing what bear mode is has been really like one of the first ways that people have gone, oh my gosh, I see exactly what's happening here. I see how many times this has played out in my life, that I've just been in bear mode, but I've been thinking that is something else entirely is going on. I've been thinking that, that I'm actually not capable, or I'm actually, not worthy of having the things that I want, or that I'm a terrible mother because all I desperately want is some time alone, or whatever these crazy things are that we tell ourselves. And then as time goes on, people tend to really dive into the other modes and go like, oh gosh, I see the magic in super mode now, and oh wow, sparkle mode. I know that a dear friend of mine, Mitlay Southey, who is an extraordinary woman who does a lot of really beautiful work in the world, and I know she wouldn't mind me saying this because she said this publicly, that sparkle mode has been her most recent. She's done this work for a long time and worked with me one-on-one, and really utilizes it in her work and in her teachings as well. She's had me come in for all of her courses that she teaches and work and share with her people. And she said sparkle mode has been like, she's like, I finally get it. I really am seeing like how, amazing that energy is. So it's like we have these 4 different amazing types of energy that we can work with, and when we know which type of energy we're working with at any time, because there's a pattern and we can track it, when we know what type of energy we're working with in that moment, we can just really tap into that and make the best of it, which is amazing. But I think for most people, bear mode is the first one that they spot, and the first one that they go like, oh wow, this is amazing. So let's have a little bit of a reading. I'm going to start at the start because that's just what I'm going to do. Alright, so chapter 4, bear mode. As I write this, I'm deep in bear mode. My motivation is low and emotions are swirling around inside me. I didn't feel like writing, but I've promised myself I will work on this book daily because this message needs to get out. The world needs to hear it. And the way I'm feeling right now is one of the biggest reasons why. Because I know what this is. I know why I feel this way, and it still feels really hard. I know there are countless women out there who are currently in bear mode and are wondering whether there might be something wrong with them, and there isn't. They're just being driven to do a certain type of work, but not the busy work they're used to doing. It's time for the inner work. I know what bear care looks like for me. Bed, tea, soft music, pajamas, writing out my feelings in a notebook. Just was doing most of those right then, except I'm not in pajamas because we've been out. Before he knew what it was, my partner would ask things like, are you out of sorts? Or have I said something to upset you? He now knows that me retreating into my inner bear cave is not his fault, nor is it something he needs to solve for me. Bear mode for us tends to go something like this. He comes home and sees I'm in leggings and one of his jumpers. The kids are having nuggets for dinner and I'm writing in a journal. He simply says, what do you need from me? I feel deep, extreme gratitude and fight off tears while saying, an hour alone in my room, please. Bear mode can feel like one big contradiction. As an introvert, I crave alone time, but I also want to be held and taken care of. I want my loved ones close, but I'd rather they not talk to me. Noticed that before? I want them to feel happy, but also to be quiet. I know sometimes in bear mode, even like the joyful sounds of my kids laughing, I'm just like, oh, can they just be a bit quieter? They're so loud with their laughter. And I'm just like, Carly, oh my God, can we be grateful for the children's laughter, please? But at the same time, forgiving myself for feeling like overwhelmed by it in a moment. I need for no one to ask me to do anything, but also I need for everyone to be okay. So I need my kids to be happy and contented and happy, but I need them to not be asking me to do things. It's a contradiction, right? I'm certain there are things I should be doing, but for the life of me, I cannot recall what they are. I'm sure there are things I should be worrying about, but I don't know what. It's like this expanded kind of, almost this expanded awareness, this big picture thinking that I know there's some details that I should be dealing with or thinking about, but I'm up here in the clouds. It's a bit of a head in the clouds kind of energy, which actually, if you think about dreaming big and having, big visions for your life, it's actually really important to be able to go to that place and pull yourself out of the nitty-gritty details of life, the to-do list and the bits and pieces, and to be able to pull yourself out. And when you know that there are certain days where you're going to be really good at that, it's really powerful knowledge to have. I'll do a little bit more. Where am I? Some bear modes feel light and I coast on through them. Others are more intense and require some managing. The constant seems to be this. The barrier between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind gets super thin. It feels like brain fog. Random little thoughts float up and distract me. If those thoughts are things like, this doona feels soft, it's fine. If those thoughts are more like, you're not a very good writer, it doesn't feel so great. So I think that's why some bear modes can be more challenging than others, is that it's kind of the things that are swirling around for us. It might be really like just foggy, like, I'm just forgetful, and it's just a light one and nothing major's coming up. But if I'm going through a real kind of period of growth and I've got some stuff that needs to come up and be healed and released and dealt with, then it's going to come up in bear mode, and that can feel really challenging. So this is one of the reasons why I feel so passionately about this book, is because I want to tool people up. I want to give them the resources they can use. I think my brother's here. I can hear my brother's voice. Okay, I'm going to go down and say hello to my brother. And so to give them the tools so that they can be in that bear mode energy, that in the cave, they're like inside of them, they're kind of in this internal bear cave. And not think something's wrong with me, I'm broken, I'm no good, I'm not capable, I'm not worthy, but actually go, oh, hang on, I've got some tools. I might stop there, I think. I'm going to do a couple more paragraphs. If you find yourself asking the question, what's up with me? You might find you're in bear mode. You might be suddenly quite forgetful or feel a little funky. Many people have said to me they think they've confused their bear mode with feelings of depression. I understand why, but I think it's important to note that the two are not the same. Bear mode is simply a cup we need to fill, and different things will fill it depending on what you need most at the time. So in bear mode, the thing is that it's this feeling of like a dip in energy, and sometimes a bit of a questioning type vibe of, am I up for it? So if you're in a real period of growth, say you're starting a business, or you're even something like buying a house, or making a big decision, going back to work or something like that, there can be a lot of identity shifting that's happening. And so questions might come up around like, am I capable of this? Can I do this? And so it can feel a bit like a self-doubt, SHIT storm. And different things are going to fill your cup at different times. So you might really want to work with that and do some journaling and move, let some of those thoughts kind of move through you. Or it might just simply be that it's time for you to have a bit of a rest from, doing all the bits and pieces, and take a bath or get a massage. Or it's about like kind of what's coming up for you. Is it just like, I'm tired and I need to rest? Or is it like, I'm really questioning my ability and I need to work through that with somebody? It's going to be different each time. But the constant is what's happening for you on a subconscious level is often going to be rising up to the surface in bear mode. And I'll tell you why. When we are in bear mode, it's like our brains have been switched to battery saving mode. Is my brother here?
Your brother is here.
Is he? Okay, I'll come down in a couple of minutes. Okay, cool. Is Brooke here too?
No.
The busy think state of mind subsides. In that quieter, cloudy state, some of those thoughts that had been there all along down in our subconscious suddenly comes up into our consciousness. Internal voices that had been very quiet now seem louder. I'm coming, baby. And when those whispers are coming from our inner critics, they can be experienced as a wave of self-doubt and not feel all that fun. That's exactly what I just said, isn't it? The busy brain slows down. It's quiet up there in your thinky space, which means some of the subtle whispers can be heard. Okay. I'm going to call that part one. I'm surrounded by people. Thank you, my loves. There is a Facebook group. I'm going to put a link below. There's also a link to purchase the book, so it's available on Amazon right now as an ebook. The print version is coming, but get the ebook this week in launch week while it's $1, because you're going to want to have it on your phone like this, so you can screenshot it, so you can because all the checklists are on there, so you're going to want to have it on your phone. You don't need a Kindle. That's on my partner's phone. You don't need a Kindle, even though it says the Kindle version. You just get the Kindle app, which is free and amazing and easy to use. Okay, my loves, have a beautiful day. I'll see you soon.